Hi, Southwest ISD Theater students. Today we will be asking the question, what is a stage manager? In this presentation, we will go over a brief overview of the job of a stage manager, and we will dig deeper into the pre-production responsibilities of a stage manager. This presentation was put together for you by Southwest ISD graduate and professional stage manager, Alexandria Sepulveda. Thank you, Alexandria, for this presentation. Let's dive in. A stage manager is one of the first people hired for the production crew of a production. They are attached to a production from start to strike. So from the beginning to the end, the stage manager is always there. Stage managers work long hours. They are often the first person to arrive and the last person to leave, whether it is for a meeting, rehearsal, or a performance. Throughout the duration of a production, people will look to the stage manager to be a source of information about the show. In order to accomplish all of these tasks, it is essential that the stage manager stay organized. Stage managers need to organize things for the production, such as keeping people on task, keeping people on time, managing meetings and rehearsals, and remaining calm and level-headed throughout the process. Stage managers are the link of communication between all departments of the production, including the actors, the designers, the tech crew, and the director. It is essential that a stage manager be able to take good notes. Some of the things that a stage manager is responsible for doing for the cast and crew include creating call times and schedules for both the technical crew and the actors, and keeping everyone's morale up. Being a stage manager can be both emotionally and physically draining because of everything that is required to keep the production moving. If a stage manager is lucky, they might have an assistant stage manager or a production assistant to help them with the running of the production. Stage managers are the energy that are needed to keep the production going smoothly. Next, we're going to dive into the prep and pre-production a stage manager must do. The first thing a stage manager would do is meet with their director. They would find out the expectations that the director has for the show and what communication that director prefers. Do they prefer to contact everybody via phone, text message, email, or a combination of all three? The stage manager would also discuss rehearsal schedules and break times with the director. And it is important that a stage manager make a good first impression on the director, as this is somebody you will be working closely with as a stage manager. When a show begins to have auditions, a stage manager is essentially responsible for running those auditions. A stage manager will provide a list of actors, will distribute the actors' headshots and resumes before they enter the room to audition, and they will make sure that the director, auditioners, or anyone in the audition room is ready for the next person to come in and audition. Some materials a stage manager may use include sign-up sheets, staplers, highlighters, tons of extra writing utensils such as pencils or pens, hand sanitizer, and a phone charger. The stage manager is also responsible for creating many documents that will be needed before the show can officially begin. One of the most important documents that a stage manager will create are schedules and rehearsal calendars for both the production, performances, and for the general rehearsals. These calendars will include performance dates, locations, and general time frames. More detailed breakdowns may be emailed daily as the production gets started. The stage manager also creates technical schedules for technical crews. In this first example, we see a rehearsal and performance schedule for a production of The House on Mango Street. We see that the schedule is broken down by week and then further by day, with time frames given. We also see the location, Dallas Children's Theater. In this next example, the breakdown looks a little different because it has been put into a calendar format. In this calendar, we see the actual calendar laid out with each day, and then there is information in each box about whatever event, rehearsal, or time frames. In this example, we see a tech schedule. This is a schedule that contains information specifically for the technical crews and includes what area of tech will be working that day, what the time frames are, and where the technical crew can expect the actors to be, highlighted in red, as you can see. This is another example of a text schedule. Though it is formatted differently, you can see it contains most of the same information. It has dates, times, locations, and what activity will be happening at each time. A stage manager will also prepare scripts and dressing rooms for the actors prior to them coming in. Stage managers will create script binders that include a script as well as other additional documents such as the production schedules, contact sheets, and emergency contact forms. They will also set up the dressing rooms by either assigning them individually to actors or assigning mirror space in the dressing rooms for the actors. They assign these spaces by putting the actor's name and photo, which you will see in an example in just a few minutes. In this picture, we see the binder. This is an example of a type of rehearsal binder you would expect to receive in a show. These are some pictures of some name tags that went on the mirrors to identify so that the actors could identify their space in the dressing room. A stage manager is also responsible for creating a call board. The call board is a physical display that includes show information like daily call times, rehearsal calendars, technical schedules, contact sheets, reminders, publicity notices, and any other important or relevant information. This is an example of a call board from the touring production of Hamilton. You can see the call board is well organized with each paper labeled. The stage manager is also responsible for creating a contact sheet. When working on a production, it is essential that every member of the production have a working phone number and email address where they can be contacted. It is the stage manager's job to put this information together. A stage manager might also be required to create an email group, but that is just depending on your director and what your director needs. For example, in this contact sheet, we see that the production has been split up into different departments. So you see the name of the department, the actor's name, what their job or role is in the show, and then in the columns on the right, you will see their personal information has been blacked out. The stage manager will also create daily calls. Daily calls are more personal, more detailed schedules that go out every day to the actors and design team. This will include information about where the rehearsal is taking place and what is happening. In this example of a daily schedule, we see there is an emphasis on costumes. We can see the time of the rehearsal. We can see a more detailed picture of what is going to be happening in this rehearsal, movement work, and scene development. And then on the right, we also see specific times listed for actors to do their costume fittings. At the bottom, there is a notes area so that any notes between departments can be communicated. A stage manager will also create reports after each rehearsal and performance. These rehearsal and performance reports keep everyone in communication. They are filled out directly after each rehearsal or performance. They will include all important information as well as questions or concerns for the design team or different departments. These reports must be clear, organized, and sent out on time. In this rehearsal report, we see the schedule. We see who was in attendance at that rehearsal. We see who was absent or late. We also see an area to write down any injuries or illnesses of the cast. And then we see an area for some general information about what happened in that rehearsal. As you go down the page, you see that it's split up by department. Performance reports are very similar in nature and look similar to rehearsal reports, but these reports come after every performance. As you can see in this example, in this report, we are given timing of how long Act 1, intermission, and Act 2 took, how many people were present at the performance, and then as we go down the screen, we see some issues that came up during the performance. There was an issue of temperature at this particular performance, and then we have some performance notes. As we go down, we see that there are also notes broken down by department. Some of them have notes, some of them do not. That just depends on what happens in the actual performance itself. A stage manager will also create a props list. A good props list will help keep you and your stage crew on track. A stage manager would start this props list immediately. As soon as it becomes apparent that props will be needed in the show, the stage manager will make a list of them and will keep track of whether they are rehearsal props, real props, who the props are for. You can see in this simple props list, we have other information too, including page numbers and additional notes. This is a more complicated props list for a different show. This show is called Penny Candy and required quite an extensive amount of props. As you can see in this image from the production, this set included many different pieces, many different props, so there was a lot to keep track of. A stage manager will also create an entrance plot and an exit plot. This is useful to all different crew members. The entrance and exit plot keeps track of where and when actors enter and exit the stage. This is useful information when you are trying to plan to do things such as costume changes, prop handoffs, or simply moving from one side of the stage to the other. This is also useful when you are trying to make those changes in a big hurry. In this example, we see a simple example of an entrance and exit plot. On the left-hand side, you see the column that has the scene. The next column over, we have a page number. And then you see the notation for entrance, ENT, for exit, EXT. And then you see some abbreviations for areas of the stage. There are also some physical tasks that a stage manager must do when preparing for a production. Stage managers will tape out the set on the floor in the rehearsal space and set up tables, chairs, or other things necessary for the production team. As you can see in this picture, the stage manager would start out with a ground plan. So this is an idea, a picture of where everything in the set would be laid out. And then they would proceed to taping out that ground plan on the floor so that the actors can have an idea of where things will be once the set pieces have been created. We have a couple of examples here. A stage manager will also need to create a stage manager kit. A stage manager kit is going to be a box or bag that is stocked with all the little materials that you might need during rehearsal. These include things like markers, pencils, pens, whiteout, highlighters, staplers, and extra staples, hand sanitizer, Advil or Tylenol, and many other chapstick and many other office supplies or minor medical supplies as needed. Here on this next slide, we have a picture of Alexandria's own personal stage manager kit. As you can see, she has a lot of the same items that you saw in the previous slide. Lots of writing utensils, Sharpies, colored pens or highlighters, and other first aid supplies. A stage manager will also create a prompt book. The prompt book is the master key to the show and contains the most up-to-date information concerning the script, technical information such as cues, blocking notes, costume notes, the entrance and exit plot, and the run sheet for the rest of the crew. Here we see an example of a blocking page. In the prompt book, you will see papers on both sides of the binder. Usually on the left side, you will see a spot for notes that usually has, like in this close-up, a ground plan of the set, an area to list characters' entrance and exits, a place for blocking notes, and a place for props. If you look at this picture, you can see an example of that page, as well as an example of the other side, where you have the actual page of the script, which contains the lines, cues, and other notes or information that are relevant to the script. That's all we have for today. Next time we will be discussing what the stage manager does in the rehearsal process and once the show has opened to the public. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Bye!